As one of the most distinctive ship designs in Star Wars, Boba Fett's Slave One needs no introduction. But I'm a YouTuber, so I have to pad the runtime. I haven't done a ship breakdown in a month, and haven't done a Star Wars ship breakdown in 2 months, so I thought it was about time to take a deep dive into a ship of some kind. And what better ship to start with than Boba Fett's iconic bounty hunting craft? I'm Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and this is the Firespray-31. Design. The Firespray-31-Class patrol and attack craft was a gunship designed and built by Kuat Systems Engineering. It had an unusual shape with an almond-shaped drive section attached to a tapering column holding the cockpit at the top and the main weapons at the bottom. It also had 2 short wings on the sides. The ship landed horizontally with its main engines to the ground, but rotated to a vertical position in flight. The exact mechanics of this function are both unclear and inconsistent throughout Star Wars content, but it would seem that at least the cockpit, and possibly a small passenger area beneath it, rotate to remain level, as do the repulsor lift wings. The back of the ship had 3 engines and the airlock, or communications antenna, depending on the depiction, and the ship's main entrance was a door at the point where the drive section met the main body of the ship. Specifications. In landing mode, the Firespray-31 measured 21.5 meters long, 21.3 meters wide, and 7.8 meters tall. It had a maximum atmospheric speed of 850 kilometers per hour, or 528 miles per hour. It also had a Class 3 hyperdrive. A stock Firespray required 1 pilot and 2 guards, but the guards were optional. It had cells for 4 to 6 prisoners and cost 80,000 credits new. Originally, it was armed with 2 laser cannons, 2 concussion missile launchers, and a tractor beam projector. However, it could be modified with much more. The most famous Firespray-31, Slave One, was armed with all that as well as a proton torpedo launcher, twin rotating blaster cannons, ion cannons, and, famously, a mine layer used to deploy seismic charges. All the extra weapons reduced Slave One's cargo capacity from the stock 70 tons to 40 tons, but I think most will agree that it was well worth it. History. The Firespray-31 was designed around 32 BBY, or at least it was operational and still considered brand new by that point. It was built for the Republic Correctional Authority, an organization that hunted and detained criminals deemed too dangerous for planetary law enforcement agencies to handle. 6 Firespray prototypes were stationed at the RCA prison on Uvo 4. Bounty hunter Jango Fett was tasked with breaking a prisoner out of Uvo 4, but his ship, Jaster's Legacy, was destroyed by guards in one of the Firesprays. Jango stole one of the other Firesprays to resume his escape, and used it to destroy the other 5. The loss of these prototypes was a tremendous setback for Kuat Systems Engineering, who cancelled the Firespray-31 project and focused on starship upgrades instead. However, KSE eventually recovered from the loss, and after Slave One became the most legendary bounty hunting ship of all time, they decided to capitalize on the ship's fame and began producing more. The Firespray was never mass-produced in great numbers, but at least a handful of bounty hunters, law enforcement agencies, and military units happily snapped up the few that were made. Jango Fett made great use of his stolen Firespray, naming it Slave 1 and upgrading its weapons, shields, sensors, and engines far beyond their stock capabilities. He also condensed the prisoner cells into smaller cages to make room for crew quarters to enable him to live in the ship. After his death at the Battle of Geonosis, Slave 1 passed to his cloned son Boba Fett. Unfortunately, Fett lost it after fellow bounty hunter Aurra Sing crashed it, and Fett was taken into custody by the Republic. Boba Fett eventually recovered the ship near the end of the Clone Wars and swiftly began his career as the greatest bounty hunter of all time, eclipsing even his own father. He would lose the ship again after his apparent death at the Pit of Carkoon, but Bib Fortuna and his forces were unable to crack the ship's security, so it remained in the hangar at Jabba's palace until Fett returned to claim it sometime later. In Legends, Fett was known to use Slave 1 until at least 41 ABY. We don't know anything about what Fett or anyone was up to at that time in canon, but we do know that the ship was still in use and in his possession as of 9 or 10 ABY, when he used it to help Din Djarin recover Grogu from Moff Gideon's Imperial Remnant. And that's my breakdown of the Firespray-31. For such an iconic ship, there certainly isn't a whole lot of information out there about it. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments and which color scheme for Slave 1 is your favorite, Boba's or Jango's. You may also like the video and subscribe the channel if you would like, or check out my custom LEGO instructions for this ship on Rebrickable. Either way, that's gonna do it for me, so I'll see you next week. RFC, out.